Is the owner and founder of Brickletics, a company that's based out in Hartford, Connecticut, of all places.
Ooh.
So we're excited to talk to Cam.
Yeah.
Welcome to the afternoon shift, Cam. How are you?
Guys, I'm doing all right. Thanks. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely, man. How did you become a Vikings fan, living all the way out in the Constitution State?
I get this question a lot, so I practice answering this one, but really it starts with my father. He grew up in Connecticut too, but at the time that he started paying attention to football, his favorite player was Fran Tarkenton. And at the time, Fran Tarkenton was a New York Giant. So he started watching football, and Fran quickly became his favorite player. And when he was traded back to Minnesota, he was really upset, and he didn't want to say goodbye to his favorite player. So he decided right then and there that he was going to become a Vikings fan, and he's been loyal ever since then.
I love that.
Wow, your dad was ahead of his time. I feel like today we live in the era of people following their favorite athlete team to team, and I feel like back in the day that wasn't as much of a thing. So
it's true.
To shout out to your dad, he was absolutely ahead of his time. Now we know the origin story of the Vikings part now, but we got to get the origin story on the Legos. How did you get into building Legos, especially at such a high level, the way that you do?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think it starts with childhood. I played with Lego a ton as a kid. It was my favorite toy. Every birthday, every Christmas, it was the only thing I wanted. I loved putting the sets together and playing with them too. So it goes back that far. But I think it kind of came back to the pandemic. Like many of us, I needed something to do. So I had come across software. There's software out there where you can design Lego stuff. And, I remembered how happy playing with Lego made me when I was a kid. So I thought, hey, this is a good time to maybe try this out and, experiment with this a little bit. And I started building US Bank Stadium in the software just because I'm a Vikings fan. It seemed like the perfect thing to do. And I didn't do any planning beforehand or anything like that. So I just started messing around, and I started building a version of US Bank Stadium that would have been way too large to ever build in real life. I think if I had actually finished it, it would have been like 10 feet long or something like that.
Oh my God.
Just absolutely ridiculous from a size and cost standpoint. So after I'd started, I kind of thought, well, it would be cool to build this someday, but if I spend a bunch of time trying to continue designing this, it's not going to be worth my time because I'll never be able to build it for real. So I kind of abandoned it. And then it really was in the fall of 2022 that I was inspired to come back to the idea. And that time I thought, well, let's do it right. Let's pick a size first that will be something that could actually be built. And I decided on, if the table was 4 feet by 4 feet, that seems reasonable, where I could get enough detail, but it would also still be possible to build. So I started doing the digital design at that size in 2022, and flash forward to today, that's the version that I ended up building in real life.
Unreal. A whole process that was very meticulously planned out,
right,
and everything. Cam, how many bricks exactly did the whole operation take?
I don't know for sure, but because of the software, I kind of have a good guess. It's roughly 15,000.
Oh my
Yeah, so it took a long time. I think my software estimates it at 13,900. But then once I built it in real life, there were extra things I needed to do, some modifications, some additions for extra detail and things like that would have increased the count. So I don't know the exact number, but 15,000 is a safe bet.
That's crazy.
That's honestly incredible, Cam. And you mentioned software a couple of times. I know. So like when you got serious and you figured out the size, how did you begin to even like plan something like this out? Because like I was saying in the introduction, I mean, it's incredibly detailed, meticulous. I mean, did you go visit US Bank Stadium a bunch of times? I would assume that you're just like scouring the internet for every possible image and picture. Like how did you go about making it as detailed and realistic as it is? Like how did this planning process go for you?
Yeah, it was a lot of looking at photos, a little bit of Google Street View, things like that. I was fortunate to visit US Bank Stadium in 2021 with my parents. That's the only time I visited so far.
Wow.
But it's amazing there. I mean, the atmosphere created by the fans, it's so loud. But while I was there, while I didn't know at the time that I would be, revisiting this project to do the Lego design, I of course took a lot of photos while I was there. So I ended up using a lot of those photos to kind of help me later as I was trying to figure out all the details. But yes, definitely a lot of scouring the internet for photos of every possible angle so that I can make it as accurate as possible.
Man, I would have thought you lived there with how detailed it is. I mean, we just had the Gallarhorn up there just a second ago. To only go one time, that's crazy. I mean, I would imagine you have to have a plan to come to a game this year, right? I mean, the Vikings got to invite you after doing something like this. Please tell me that you're coming to a game at US Bank Stadium this year, Cam.
I hope so. Nothing is locked in yet, but I'm really hoping so. That would be amazing. I've been really looking forward to whenever my next trip to US Bank Stadium will be. So hopefully it's sooner rather than later, for sure.
We got to plan that out.
Yeah,
we know some people. We got
to make some phone calls. Get on the phone.
In front of the right people here.
I'm doing it right now.
Cam, how old are you by chance?
I just turned 29.
Oh man!
Wow,
it's incredible what you've got going on here. The company Brickletics. I assume that has something to do with combining Legos with athletics. Are you going to be building more stadiums here going forward?
That was the idea, yeah. So, I mean, really, when I started, I had no idea that social media would be part of this at all because I really just did this for fun, for my own personal enjoyment. And then along the way, the question of, well, what am I going to do with this after I build it? That question hits, and then, I had to figure out, well, what am I going to do? And the idea of getting it to Minnesota kind of came to mind. And, as a Vikings fan, just the thought that, this could be displayed somewhere, maybe at US Bank Stadium or the Vikings Museum or any public space, in the community, that would just be a dream come true. It would be so cool to make that happen. So once I decided that was going to be my goal after I finished, it only made sense to establish, a social media presence since we all know how powerful social media can be about, getting the word out. So I picked the name Brickletics just to combining my two favorite things, Lego and sports. And as for the future, we'll see what I want to do next. I mean, US Bank Stadium, of course, was the natural, first choice for a stadium, but the door is definitely open to build another stadium next in the future. So we'll see where that takes me.
It absolutely is going to happen, Cam. It's not an if. It'll be displayed either at US Bank Stadium or the Vikings. It's going to happen because this is an absolute masterpiece and it deserves to be displayed 100%. Outside of US Bank Stadium, which obviously, again, I will say one more time, is a freaking masterpiece. What other intricate designs have you made?
This is really the first thing that I've made,
Wow.
and that's why it took so long, honestly. This was a 2.5-year process. It is just a hobby for me, so, working on it in my free time here and there. But I really just love creating things. And that helped me really see it through to the end, even throughout that long period of time, just because there were a lot of times that it just didn't feel like work, whether it was the digital design or actually putting the Lego together once I had all the pieces. It's really just been so fun to work on. But I think that this is going to be the first of many creations for me.
Did you have any? Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I just had to ask. Seeing you stand next to that, I got anxious just looking at that picture, and I have to you have to feel anxious anytime you're going in for like towards the end. Did you have any scares at any point? Did you have to redo anything? Did you ever accidentally knock something over? I mean, anytime someone enters the room, are you just do you have lasers around it or something? I mean, I would be so anxious 24/7 that I'm gonna mess it up or someone else is gonna mess it up. So what is the security like around this thing? And did you have any mess ups or redos that you had to do?
I definitely had my fair share of moments of panic. Times where I was filming something, I dropped my phone onto the stadium, broke something. I was so upset, but I've because I know how to put it back together. It wasn't no crises. I was able to fix it. Relatively quickly. I think the scariest thing though was one of the finishing touches that I did was I made custom decals. I really wanted to put the Vikings logo at midfield and put the Vikings lettering, in the end zones. And as I was getting ready to place those decals, I had the realization that if I mess this up and I put the sticker on wrong, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this off again or what that's going to look like. So I had to be very careful. Very careful. I was sweating when I was putting those stickers on, but Fortunately, it ended up coming out great. I was able to line it up nice and even, so it was okay.
Oh, you came up clutch, Cam. You came up clutch. So are you only using your hands? Do you have like a bunch of different tools? Like what is kind of like the tool set looking like for when you're making something like this?
Yeah, it's mostly just my hands. I always have my laptop side by side with me because I have to keep referencing the design, in the software to make sure, I know exactly what to build. And other than that, Lego makes this little tool that they include in some of their sets called a brick separator. And it's just a little lever that you can put on top of a Lego brick and press it down, and it'll pop the bricks apart for you so you don't have to chew up your fingernails too much. So definitely have one of those handy. That always comes in handy for sure.
Cam, this is just a hobby for you. What exactly is the day job that you have on top of building intricate U.S. Bank Stadium replicas?
I work in technology. I'm a software developer by day, and then building Lego is my hobby by night.
I love that.
Wow. Well, you're a freaking master at it, Cam. Where can people find you on social media and see other future works of art or just marvel at the U.S. Bank Stadium that you made?
Thank you guys so much. My social media is at Brickletics. I'm on all the major social media platforms, so come check it out. And I invite anyone who's interested to follow me for more.
We got to get you to U.S. Bank Stadium this season, Cam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Season, yeah.
I got to see this SOB in person. I got to marvel at this in person. So we're gonna get you to U.S. Bank Stadium one way or another, Cam.
Awesome. We'll make it happen, guys. I'm optimistic.
Thanks, Cam. Cam Tatsapaugh of Brickletics. Really appreciate your time, bud.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
There you go.
Let's go. Let's go.
We should have got a record prediction for the Vikings season from Cam.
Yeah, I bet he would have said 17-0.
17-0. Paul, is he gone yet? Can we get him back on? I don't know if he's gone. There he is.
17-0, right, Cam?
17-0.
Let's go.
Let's